pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain. Muscular discomfort is entirely up to you. If you need to have a little rest, recover, start again when you're ready to join in again. Usual props, a ball. If I've got one, or I can always use a pillow or a rolled towel, and then a strap, a belt, or a band that I can use to assist, especially for the legs. So I'm just going to try and find that neutral alignment. So I'm going to, if I'm seated, I'm going to try and sit as tall as possible, trying to create space at the front, just making sure that the rib cage dropping so the body slouching forward. It's not compressing the diaphragm, so preventing me from breathing diaphragmatically, and then forcing me into apical breath. So that breath that tend to kind of like winds me up. So see if I can try and relax it from here, create a little more space, encouraging the diaphragm to descend, feeling the belly and the rib cage expanding out as I breathe. And then relaxing as I exhale out. So softening the front of the throat, to the front of the chest, the neck, the shoulders. So see if I can try and bring the breath into a more relaxed state, and then with the breath, see if I can send the body into a more relaxed state. If you're lying down, just taking advantage of the mat. I'm just going to let the body relax completely onto the floor, keeping the legs straight, bending the knees, opening the arms to the side, turning the palms to face up to the ceiling, encouraging the shoulders to roll out, the front of the chest to open up. And then at the same time, I was trying to keep that nice and soft and relax the breath going. See if I can focus on the body and how the body feels at the moment. So I might feel that there's a little bit of a niggle here and there. I feel a bit wonky. I feel the pressure on the one side of the body is different. I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. And then I started feeling the breath is kind of like calming me down, so it's just winding me down a little bit more. I'm going to start to move into the shoulder girdle. I'm going to shrug the shoulders up to the head, and then I'm going to press them down and away. I'm going to shrug them up, and then I'm going to press them down. So picturing the shoulder blades are sliding up and down the back of the rib cage as the shoulders are moving towards the head, and then pressing down towards the middle of the back. Same as usual. Making small changes to the direction. What happens if I bring the shoulders slightly forward? So if I kind of like hunch forward a little bit more, as the shoulders move up and down, I can feel that all of the tension tends to be across the front of the chest. If I exaggerate in reverse, so I kind of like draw the shoulders backwards as I press down and up, I can feel the tension is predominantly at the back. So see if I can find that midway point where I feel that the front and the back are working evenly together as the shoulders are moving up and down. So front is not prevailing, back is not prevailing. It's a nice to balance the tension between the two. 3, 2, 1. And releasing down, keeping the shoulders down, nice and long. See if I can start to move into the neck. I'm going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder. And then I'm going to ease back to center, turn to look over the left. See if you can think of not just turning the head, but looking around. So with the corner of the eye, I'm just going to try and see how far around can I see. Then coming back to the center, how far around can I see when I look around the other side? And then back to the center again. Making sure that I'm not forcing, so I don't want to cause pain on the neck, any preferred pain down the arms or tingling into the fingers. This is a nice, easy rotation. With the corner of the eye, just to check, especially if you're seated, check that the shoulder is not following you back. So it's just the head that is turning, not the shoulders. And then as I feel the movement that starts feeling a little bit easier, feels a little bit looser, then I'm going to turn to look over the right shoulder, and then this time I'm just going to pause there. I'm going to keep the head looking around the right, and then see if you can think of your left shoulder. I'm going to press it down and away from the head, and then I'm just going to push it back ever so slightly. I should be able to feel a little bit more stretch there from the collarbone that's up into the side of the neck, towards the base of the jaw back of the ear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to relax the shoulder first, and then I'm going to turn the head back to the center. Then I'm going to look around with the left shoulder. I'm going to keep the head here. I'm going to depress the right shoulder, so press it down and away from the head. And then I'm just going to draw it back ever so slightly until I can feel a little bit more stretch coming down the side of the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the shoulder, turning the head back to the center. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then this time, from rotation, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So instead of turning the head, think of dropping the head. So I'm going to bring my right ear to my right shoulder. Come back to center, left ear to the left shoulder. And then back to center again. If, whether you're lying down or sitting up, as the head moves down to the shoulder, make sure that your nose is still pointing straight ahead of you. So I'm not suddenly pointing the nose towards the shoulder, so I'm not turning the head. I'm still looking straight ahead of me. Then I'm going to ease back to center, flexing the other way, back to center, flexing the other way. And then same as you did for the rotation, this time I can't see the shoulders because there's somewhere down there on the side the head is covering them up. See if you can be aware. Make sure that it's your ear that moves to the shoulder, not the shoulder that pulls up to the ear. So see if I can keep the shoulders relaxed, and then just a gentle movement side to side. 4, 3, 2, last one, and easing the right ear down to the right shoulder, hold it there. Same as you did before, focus on your left shoulder, so the opposite sides. See if you can depress the shoulder again, so I'm going to press it down and away from the head. And then this time, play with the position of the shoulder. So if I push it back, I can feel more stretch going towards the collarbone at the front. If I bring it forward, I can feel a little bit more stretch going at the back, slightly into the traps. See if you can center the shoulder so that you feel that the stretch is where you feel that you need it the most. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the shoulder, and then bring the head back to the center. Left ear to the left shoulder. I'm going to depress the right shoulder, and then I'm just going to push it back, bring it forward. See if I can find the point where I feel that the stretch is the one that feels the most relief and the one that is helping me ease off of some of the tension. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the shoulder. Bring the head back to the center. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms, and making sure that the head is back centered on top of the shoulders. And then I'm just going to get a little arms and movement to guide. I'm going to start bringing the arms up to the front. If you could bring them up just about shoulder level. So if I'm laying down, I just want to bring the arms straight out to the ceiling. Then I'm going to bring them down by the side, and then I'm going to pull them forward again. So if I'm seated, the arms are reaching to the front of the room. If I'm laying down, they'll just be pointing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to ease them back, and then I'm going to lift them up again. It's a nice easy movement. It's a little movement. I'm not trying to lift the arms too high. I can keep them bent. If I feel that they're a bit too heavy, or maybe the shoulder feels a bit too stiff. And then as I feel the movement that starts getting a little bit easier, a little bit looser, I'm just going to try and hold it up. So I'm going to bring the hands at shoulder level, and then keeping the arms there, think of your right hand touching the front of the room. So I'm going to try and push forward with my right hand, touching the ceiling. If I'm laying down, then I'm going to ease back. I'm going to push forward with my left, ease back, and then I'm going to release the arms down. So whether you're lying down or seated up, you're rotating. So I'm not going forward with the body, I'm just pulling forward with one arm at a time. So my left arm pulls, my left shoulder comes forward, I'm rotating, coming back to center, my right arm pulls, I'm going to rotate the other way, easing back, and then I'm going to release it down. If I'm lying down, as my right shoulder pulls, I'm still going to rotate to the left. As my left arm pulls, I'm rotating to the right. It's just a gentle rocking from shoulder to shoulder. 4. 3. 2. Having a little rest after each pull from side to side, so that the neck doesn't start stiffening, doesn't tense. And last one. 1. The other. And release it down. Adjusting the shoulders, resetting your neutral, resetting your center, allowing the arms to come down by the side. And then this time I'm going to change the direction of the movement. Instead of pulling front, instead of lifting front, I'm going to lift to side, one arm at a time. So I'm going to reach the right arm out to the right, bring it back, and then left to the left. Bring it down, right to the right, down, left to the left, down. Same as you for the front raise. It's only a little lift, so I'm not trying to go too high again. I want the hand roughly level with the shoulder. The elbow is soft, slightly bent, so the arm doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel too hard to lift. And again, there shouldn't be any pain in the shoulder as the arm comes up. Just notice this time as the arm opens to the side, just notice the shoulder on that same side. Is that shoulder popping up to your head? On the next one, can you keep it down? Can you keep a nice, long, relaxed neck so there is no tension building into the neck? And then I feel the movement, it feels a little bit easier, feels a little bit looser. I'm going to open the right arm out to the right. Now, if you're lying down, use the left hand to support the head so that you can take the head with you. With your right hand, try to touch the right side of the room. So I'm going to pull to the right as far as I feel, balance as far as I can. I'm going to draw myself back to the center, relax that arm down. Reaching the left, I'm going to pull as far to the left as I can. Back to the center, and then releasing the arm down. See if you can be aware of the tension into the side of the belly that is allowing me to shift to the side, to reach to the side, and at the same time it's tensing to prevent me from falling over in that direction if I'm seated up. If you're lying down, carrying the head with you, see how far we can reach to the right, coming back to the center, Swapping the arms. How can I go to the left? Back to the center. And to the right again. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing back, allowing the shoulders a little roll, bringing yourself back to that center line, finding that neutral alignment again. A little bit more connection into the obliques, there's a little bit more movement into the shoulder. This time I want to try and get full range. So stay with a single arm. This time, instead of stopping at shoulder height, I'm going to keep moving back, because I'm going to raise the right arm up, and then I'm going to reach it behind. If I'm lying down, trying to take it towards the ceiling if I'm sitting up. And then with the left, I'm going to do the same. I might get all the way, I might not be able to lift that high. It doesn't really matter. If you feel that the shoulder is restricted, so I find that it's very hard to get past a certain point, I might create some more space. So I might open the arm slightly to the side and see if I can maybe take it up just a little bit more, and then coming back. The same as usual, noticing if it's the arm that is actually moving into the shoulder socket, or if you feel that if it's the all of your shoulder girdle that is lifting up. So see if I can keep the shoulder and the neck relaxed, and just trying to move the arm into the shoulder joint. And then I'm moving one arm at a time, so my left is a bit stiff, so I'm going to do a smaller lift. My right feels good, so I'm going to go for a bigger lift, or vice versa. Again, as you feel the movement starts feeling easier, a bit loose at both sides, then I'm going to try and see if I can add a little pull. So the next one, as the right arm comes up, I'm going to turn the head to the side, and then I'm just going to look at the hand as it reaches up or as it reaches behind. Once I get to the top of my range, with that hand, I'm going to try and reach away. So if I'm seated, I'm going to try and touch the ceiling. If I'm laying down, I'm going to try and touch the wall behind me. Then I'm going to ease everything down, and then same thing to the other side. So I'm going to pick up the left arm, I'm going to turn the head, look at the hand. I'm going to try and reach to touch the ceiling, to touch the back wall, and then I'm going to release back down. So if you're seated, imagine to be wanting to change the light bulb. So I'm going to look where the light bulb is, and then I'm just going to try and grab it, and then I'm going to ease back down. If you're laying down, same. So I'm just going to move the head out of the way. I'm going to look where my hand is going. I'm going to try and reach a little bit further, and then I'm going to bring everything back to center. Taking the other arm, turning the head, looking where the hand is going, see if I can reach a little bit further. And then I'm going to come back to center again. One more time on each side. So nice long reach to one side. Coming back, and a nice long reach the other way, and releasing back. Returning the shoulders and the head back to the center, adjusting the position. So there's a little bit more movement, hopefully a lot more movement through the shoulder joint to shoulder girdle, some movement through the back and the neck too. I'm going to focus on the neck again, but this time I'm going to work in flexion extension. So I'm going to clench the fist, and then I'm just going to tap the fist between the chin and the chest. That way, it doesn't matter. I can use one, I can use both. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to tap them in. And then from there, I'm just going to keep the fist there, to prevent crushing, the windpipe crushing the front of the neck. So it's going to give me some space. And then from here, I'm just going to try and bring the nose around the hands and towards the front of the chest. So I'm going to try and come forward slightly. Then I'm going to release, and then I'm going to come forward slightly and release. So think of a little, almost like a little nodding movement. I'm trying to lengthen the back of the neck. So I'm going to try and open up the space and reach it nice and long, and then easing back. If you're lying down, it's the same thing. Don't lift the head off the floor, keep it on the floor. Just to see if you can feel the neck, the curve at the back of the neck, the flattening, as if you were trying to press it flat against the back of the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, returning the head back to the center. So it's a little bit decompression, a little bit more space at the back. This time I'm going to go in extension. So think of taking your chin or your nose to the back or to the ceiling if you're sitting. So I'm just going to lift, look up, look back, and then I'm going to come back into neutral. And come back into neutral. So again, the head is staying on the floor. If I'm lying down, if I'm seated, making sure that you're trying to look up, but making sure that the weight of the head is not just dropping behind. So again, I'm not compressing at the back. I'm trying to lengthen, then I'm trying to keep that length for the space that I've created, and then just look my way up. And then ease my way back into neutral. And then same as usual, if you feel that the front of the throat feels quite tight, so I feel that as soon as I lift my chin, I can really feel the pull at the front. See if you can focus on the tongue muscle. As I look up, as I look back, if I push the tongue into the roof with my mouth, it makes the stretch a little bit stronger. It eases off some more of the tension from the front of the throat. 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, returning the head back to the middle, giving the shoulders a little bit of roll. Again, it's a little bit more space, it's a little bit more movement through the neck. Maybe retesting your rotation side to side, noticing if it feels easier, if it feels better, same, worse. And then bringing the head back to the center. This time I'm going to start shifting the effort a little bit further down. I'm going to go back into the obliques, into the side of the belly. This time, instead of trying to work them using the weight of the torso, the weight of the arms, I'm going to try and work them using the other end, so the weight of the pelvis, the weight of the hips. I'm going to start hitching up. So I want the right hip to hitch up towards the rib cage. I'm going to ease back, then I'm going to hitch that left hip towards the left side of the rib cage. So same as usual, if I'm seated, it's as if I wanted to try and pull my right seat bit off the chair, then I'm going to sit back on it, and then I'm going to try and pull the left seat bit off the chair, and then sit back on it. So I can feel a little tension side to side, like a little seesaw going up and down. If I'm laying down, it's exactly the same. I'm going to use the mat to guide me. The pelvis staying supported, staying flat against the mat. I'm going to pull up on the right hip and then pull up on the left. Feeling the pelvis and just gently rocking side to side, just like a little pendulum motion. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back to the middle, adjusting the hips, so resetting your neutral, resetting the pelvis. And then I'm going to start to focus in on the legs, coordinating arms and legs together. I'm going to rest with the right hand against the right leg, the left hand against the left leg. Now imagine a string that goes from your right hand into the right thigh and the left hand into the left thigh. So I'm going to start pulling at the string with my right hand. See if the right leg wants to follow me. Then I'm going to ease back on the string and then I'm going to pull with the left. Ease back on the string and then pull with the right. So imagine to be puppeting your legs using the arms. However small the movement is, especially if I'm sitting, it doesn't matter if the foot lifts off the ground, just to see if you can picture a little tension that comes up, the thigh into the front of the hip, into the side of the belly. So the obliques again working to help me stabilize the leg, the front of the hip, trying to close the hip joint to create that lift. And then the arm almost like encouraging that movement with that imaginary string. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing down, relaxing the hip, releasing the legs. I'm going to reverse the effort. This time, instead of lifting up, I want to press down. So if you're seated, I'm going to lean forward slightly. So as it goes, trying to transfer the weight from the hips or from the seat bones into the feet. Maybe moving the feet a little bit closer to you, and then pushing down through the soles of the feet to see if you can think of peeling both of the seat bones away from the chest as if I was trying to stand up. And then I'm just going to sit back down again. If you're lying down, I'm going to push down through the soles of the feet, and then lifting the hips up, I'm going to go into bridge. So still trying to work into the back of the hips, into the back of the legs. And then I'm just going to ease my way down. So little lift, big lift, is whatever it is. Four, 3, 2, 1. Last one. And releasing down, relaxing the hips, so giving the legs a little shake, relaxing the back of the leg, the back of the bone. And then I'm going to go back into the hip flexion. Still puppeting with the arms, but this time, imagine to be attaching the spring from your right hand to the left leg, from the left hand to the right. So as I pull with my right arm, it's my left leg that is coming up. And then I'm just going to ease back. As I pull with my left arm, it's my right leg that lifts. And then easing down. So same as I did before. Just noticing one combination normally works better than the other. So notice which combination works better for you. Is it the previous one, so when we were working on the same side? Or is it this one, when you're working opposite sides? Does it feel the same? So again, I'm focusing the intention into the front of the hip that is closing the hip. Pull the leg off the mat, pull the foot off the mat. The side of the belly, helping me to stabilize the pelvis as the leg is pulling away. And then the arm again, almost like a guide in it, that imaginary spring that is helping me to pull up and down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release, relaxing the hips and relaxing the legs as little rest for the front of the hips, front of the belly, front of the leg. I'm going to go back into the lift, into the push down. If you can, so if you felt that the movement felt quite easy, I felt quite comfortable with it, then see if you can make it a little bit more challenging this time. So instead of coming straight down, see if you can hold for about 5 counts, 5 seconds. So I'm going to push down through the feet, squeeze up to the back of the hips. I'm going to try and hold it. 1, 2, 3, and then I might just sit down then. Then I'm going to try again. I'm going to push up. See if maybe this time I can hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then ease and back down again. See if I can maybe build it all the way to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back, and then trying again. So finding the hold that works for you. So I can hold it for 5 seconds, 5 counts. I'm going to do 5 counts. I find that my legs have started fatiguing. I'm feeling it's getting quite hard. I'm just going to drop down to 3 counts, to 2 counts. It's just a little pause, and then I'm just going to sit back down. I'm just going to come down from my bridge if I'm laying down. 2 more times. I'm just going to load 1, 2, 3, and then having a little rest. Last time. 1, 2, 3, and releasing down. Giving the legs a little walk, a little shake, relaxing the legs, releasing the back of the legs, the back of the hips. And then this time I'm just going to try and loosen up a little bit into the hip joint. So grabbing hold of your band, your strap, you can use, if you're seated, you can even use your hands. So and then using the band to give me just a little support to see if you can think of the leg relaxing. So I'm just going to let the leg relax into the hip socket. And then with the arm, I'm just going to guide it around into little circles. So it doesn't need to be a massive movement. But see if you can picture the head of the femur, the top of the leg, just gently rolling into the hip socket. Just a nice, easy movement. Just lubricating the joint and trying to get it done. If you're laying down, you'll have to lift the leg. So I'm just going to support it and then just go round. I'm going to reverse the circles. I'm going to circle the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down. Allowing the leg a little rest, allowing the arm a little rest. If I feel I really have to tense the arm to get the leg to move. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So I'm just going to flip the band behind the left thigh. Think of relaxing the left leg as much as you can. And then same as I did on the right, I'm just going to circle around. So I want you to massage the back of the pelvis. So nothing grinding, nothing pinching, nothing catching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then reverse and go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back, easing the band, pushing the band to one side, relaxing the leg. So I feel both hip joints feel a little bit kind of like warmer, a little bit looser. There seems to be moving in a smoother way. It doesn't feel so gritted, it doesn't feel so tight. So if you can think of a little lateral movement. I'm going to go back to the right leg. So if I've got enough control of the leg, I don't need the band. If I know that the leg is a bit temperamental, then I'm going to put the strap around the back of the leg again. And then each time, imagine a little walk to the side. So I'm going to lift to the right foot, and then I'm just going to pull it to the right. And then I'm going to pull it back to center. So I'm going to open, and then I'm going to close. I'm going to open, and then I'm going to close. So these sounds, just concentrating on that lateral movement and then coming back. Again, I'm not pulling too hard. It's whatever the hip allows me to, whatever the arm can support, making sure that nothing seems to be pinching or catching into the side of the hip. We're just trying to loosen up the hip a little bit more. 3, 2, 1, and release it back, relaxing that leg, same thing to the left. So I'm going to switch the strap to the left side if I need a little support, and then with the left leg, I'm going to open to the left, close back to center, open to the left, close back to center. So same as I did on the other side. I don't want pinching, I don't want forcing, I don't want pain. I just want to try and ease off some of the tension, some of the stiffness from the joint to see if I can try and keep it a little bit looser, make it a little bit looser. 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Giving the legs a little shake, relaxing the legs and releasing the hips. When you're ready, if you're laying down, rolling over onto the side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting, finding your comfortable seated position. Finding a little support behind you if you feel that you need something to lean on. Setting the legs across, open, close, whichever way works best for your hip and your knee. And then trying to find the space at the front of the body. I'm going to bring my hands to the front. I'm going to interlock the fingers in front of it. And then imagine to have a big balloon that is gradually inflating between your arms. I want you to hold onto the balloon for as long as you can. So I'm going to let it inflate more and more and more. I can feel my chest a bit pushed back by the pressure of the balloon. My hands pushed forward, my elbows pulled out. I'm I'm just going to inflate it as much as I can, and then when I feel that I can't hold it anymore, I'm just going to let it go. And then I'm going to try again. So I'm just going to get the next one. I'm going to let it inflate as much as I can. And then I'm going to let it go. One more time. I'm just going to let it inflate. Make it as big as you can. And letting go. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. Taking a deep breath in, I'm just going to push the chest forward, going into extension this time. Shoulders fall back, drop down, looking forward, looking up, looking back, take the chest into the ceiling, and then release and coming forward. Chin to the chest and the shoulders come forward. I'm going to roll my way down as far as I feel comfortable. And then I'm going to uncurl back up. Extending my way up, just forward. I'm going to lift up, shoulders down at the back. And then I'm going to release and then come forward into flexion again. Last time, extending up. Looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then easing your way back. One hand to the belly. One hand to the back, take your bow, give yourself